Hello, welcome to this week's edition of WCS Sports Connection Game Day. I'm your co-host, Jeremy Qualls. My co-host, Tate Mathews, is on assignment today. So with me is Danny Borne, Athletic Director of Ravenwood High School. Danny, how are you doing today?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Glad you could be here. Let's talk about Ravenwood Raptors and the athletic things that are going on at Ravenwood High School, man. What a fantastic year. Up until this point, you still rolling during spring sports. We're talking about Director Cup points for the year. It's coming down between you and Brentwood. It's going to come down to the finish here, a photo finish, if you will. It looks to be a whole lot of fun. So let's talk about you real quick. You are new to the show, new to your position as Athletic Director at Ravenwood. Talk a little bit about yourself. Tell these folks about yourself.
Well, I took over full-time Athletic Director in January. Patrick Whitlock and I, the former Athletic Director, were sharing the position in the fall. So I was able to get my feet wet and kind of learn my way through some things. And then he moved to assistant principal, so which led me into being the full-time athletic director in January, which has been a interesting transition considering I also coach baseball. So I was just getting into my spring sport, and I was coaching the JV and the varsity this year for the first time. So extra duties in a lot of areas, but it's been a lot of fun, and I'm learning a lot, and very excited what's going on at Ravenwood High School right now. Excellent.
Well, before you became the assistant baseball coach, athletic director at Ravenwood, take us back a little bit to your high school days and career up until this point. What have you been doing?
Well, I'm from Middle Tennessee, from Lewisburg, Tennessee, which is a little bit south of here. I was a three-sport athlete, baseball, football, and basketball. Played all three all the way through high school. Received a scholarship to play baseball at Middle Tennessee State, which was good. I was able to stay locally again to continue my education and athletic career. I was signed by the St. Louis Cardinals after my last year of college eligibility. Played 2 years in the St. Louis Cardinals organization, which was a great experience. Met a lot of great people, learned a lot about the game, but also the life and the world of professional sports, which is a whole nother issue as far as, that's what I tell people about coming back to high school is, I had some opportunities to coach in college and coach professionally as a pitching coach, but, this is the purest form of athletics is the high school. And, I wouldn't be where I am today without the help of the high school coaches I played for that mentored me and led me to where I am today. So really enjoyed this level and glad I could be back and a part of the high school game again.
Absolutely. From my position, man, your worth is immeasurable. I mean, you're talking about you're bringing with you the expertise of having played and received college scholarship on the Division I level, playing minor league baseball for the St. Louis Cardinals to boot, and then now you're an educator. And on the education side, what people don't realize and what we don't talk enough about is in the physical education realm of things, Danny, you are one of our top, if not the top, high school PE guys that we have. I know that you've incorporated some CrossFit things and look to continue that journey at Ravenwood High School.
Absolutely. We really incorporated this year the functional fitness realm. Today's world, we spend a lot of time on our phones. Kids are always sitting a lot. They sit through class all day. They're on their phones all day. So you need to talk about just being able to move efficiently and just posture issues. Kids are not outside playing as much as they used to. So being able to teach them how to move correctly again and help them out is going to be great as far as taking them through the rest of their life. Physically fit and healthy. So.
And I know from an athletic director standpoint, there's 8 total in the system, soon to be 9, but you do an outstanding job in the short amount of time you've been there. I can't say enough about the pride that you have for your school and for the programs there, not just baseball, because when you step into this role, obviously you have to have that non-biased view across all sports, and you do a great job up there. And so that leads us into the fall sports. Let's talk a little bit about the fall sports and what a great fall sports season that you had, a good kickoff to Ravenwood Athletics. We're going to start with girls soccer. Carly Pascal. She was a great soccer star. Talk a little bit about her. She's also up for Female Athlete of the Year in the Wilcos.
Absolutely. Carly is a phenomenal talent. She actually plays on Team USA in the off season. The first year, 2 years ago, she went to the Team USA trials to determine if she was going to make the team, and this was for the 15U, so 15 and under she was trying out for, and she did so well that they moved her to the 16U team. So not only was she playing with the national team, which is the best player in the country, but they also advanced her in age group that first year she was there to play for the 16U. So she did really well, but also, you know, not only the talent, but also being a teammate, being a great for the school and the team as far as, you know, she could obviously go score a lot more than she does, but that's not the way, you know, the best for the team, you know. So she's great at incorporating her teammates and just being a good leader on the field.
I mean, how good do you have to be to make an international squad? I mean, how many, I don't know off the top of my head how many roster spots there are, but for somebody in our sports conference to be, you know, available to play on that, I mean, how big a deal is that?
Well, you know, you talk about the national level, you know, you're talking about every high school in America, the top 22 female soccer players that are 15 and younger. So you take that and then you also measure it against, now they're moving her up a class. So now you talk about on the national level, not only is she the best 22 players in the country, but also to be able to advance to the next level and play a class up. And this is her second year to do that in the offseason. Just
curious to find out, do you think she was the only one that moved up, possibly, or was there? I mean, you can't move the whole team up, so she's one of a very, very select few that got to move up to that 16U team.
I would say she would be the only one, or maybe one more.
Well, that's incredible, and she's also up for Female Athlete of the Year, obviously, deservingly so, at the Wilco. So let's move over to the cross-country realm. Annika Sleenhoff, freshman, second in the state this year. Obviously, she has a bright future ahead of her in cross-country.
Yes, Annika just exploded onto the scene this year. You know, you don't expect a whole lot as far as when you only have five people competing for a cross-country team in a meet. You don't expect one of them to be a freshman, let alone that. To finish second in the state in cross country was an amazing feat, and we're looking for big things from her moving forward.
She's also a Wilco finalist in that category in the girls' side of cross country. On the boys' side of cross country, one of your Wilco nominees is Matt Rainey on the boys' side of cross country. What about Matt and the boys' cross country team this year?
Well, Matt just signed at American University in Washington, D.C., which is a great academic institution, and you know, he also runs track. He's doing a great job in track. I heard a stat the other day when we were at signing day, and Coach Mueller, the track coach, and he also coaches cross country, said Matt has the 11th best time in the country for the 800 meters for track. So, you know, he's up for cross country, but he could also, you know, he's a great for the track program as well.
Do you happen to know that time off the top of your head? Just curious, if it's a half mile, obviously it's probably under the 2-minute mark there. That would, you know, if he could finish the mile out in under 4, what an amazing feat that would be.
I heard the number, but I can't recall off the top of my head.
I'll let you slide on that one since you're new guy. Let's talk about volleyball. You know, volleyball is one of those prime sports, if not one of the most dominant sports in the WCS Sports Conference as far as Middle Tennessee goes, as far as the southeastern United States goes. We, you know, Brentwood's sitting at 4th in the country right now. How hard is that to, not only for the, I don't want, hatred's a strong word, but the dislike between Brentwood and Ravenwood in the Battle of the Woods in every sporting event. You know, Ravenwood, it's a tough battle when you've got Brentwood sitting across the street at 4th in the country. Yeah,
well, you know, one of my mottos I try and use as far as, you know, the athletic program and is enrich the high school experience. You know, and when you talk about just a fan in the stands, maybe a football player coming to the game or another athlete or a student coming to the game, there's nothing better than the excitement during the school day of, okay, hey, we're playing Battle of the Woods tonight, no matter what sport it is. And then also once you get to the game, it's just electric on both sides. I mean, the fan bases are going crazy. The parents are into it. I mean, it's an unbelievable atmosphere, and, you know, enrich the high school experience. I mean, that's what it's all about, to, you know, things that they're going to remember forever.
Yeah, and I look forward to, you know, we started our game days this year. We couldn't get it worked out, but next year we're going to make sure that Battle of the Woods is one of our game days, and I mean, it will be electric. So Lindsay Knott, who is up for the Wilco, let's talk about the volleyball program. So how did the volleyball program do in the fall?
Well, you know, going in, the road to the state goes through Williamson County, whether it's Brentwood, Ravenwood, or Centennial. They all have top-notch programs, and not to slight any of the other schools, which also have great programs. But in the 4 years I've been at Ravenwood, we won 2 state championships. We had a couple elite players come through. Now they're Division I level. We have one at Alabama, which started as a freshman and got freshman All-American. And we also have another just transferred to Auburn. So we have 2 players since I've been there And now Lindsay has also picked up, and learned a lot from those players, which has been great for her, and she obviously, as a senior, when they left, she kind of picked up the slack and put the team on her back and had a great run. We also just lost our head coach, Tracy Berry, who decided to retire at the end of the year. She's coached for over 30 years, and her family's moved closer to Middle Tennessee, so she wants to spend more time with her family. We just hired Wendy Munzel, who's going to be a great hire. She's been in Texas for over the last 20 years. They just relocated to Williamson County for her husband's job. She has 2 boys at Ravenwood that are also involved in athletics, so she was already incorporated into the school. We did our background check and started calling her references. Everything was top notch, and everybody we spoke to said, "You need to get this. You need to get this coach. She's the real deal." And we're super excited, but also thankful for what Coach Berry did for us for the last 7 years.
So you're looking for bright things on the future with volleyball. Moving into golf, on the girls' side of things, Catherine Blackburn right now, one of the nominees for the finalist in the girls' golf at the Wilco's. Let's talk about your golf program, how they did this past fall.
Well, great on both sides. Very fortunate that most of our players belong to country clubs around the area and are playing year-round, and their parents are golfers. So it's kind of the lineage of continuing to pick up the sport, which is not one of the major sports right now as far as the United States, but it's kind of making a comeback, and Catherine Blackburn, great season, had a good winter, was super excited about the Wilco nomination and very honored to receive the award.
Well, that brings us into football. Now, we can't say enough about football. The football season at Ravenwood this year was one for the ages. I mean, it started off, you've got Coach Will Hester there, who's up for Coach of the Year, by the way, at the Wilco's. But you're talking about a guy that has not lost a district game yet, a region game, a regular season game, has not lost one. Come into the year with high expectations of all the pieces of the puzzle, Austin Percy, Cole Brown, the Rowland brothers, and then throw in Van Jefferson in the mix. What did Ravenwood football do to Ravenwood High School this year?
Well, it all starts at the top. When Coach Hester came to us 2 years ago, the program was down. We were coming off a 3-7 season, but had won the last 3 games of the year. So you started out 0-7 and then win the last 3. It had some momentum, and then when Coach Hester came, he's the absolute total package you could ever ask for as far as coaching on the field, handling players, being a school guy. When you talk about football coaches, sometimes it's football only. He supports the other programs. He's at all the basketball games. He comes to baseball. He allows his players and works their schedule around other sports to allow the kids to play multiple sports, and it's not just 100% football.
Well, I'll tell you what, I have enjoyed so much of watching him work, because you hit it right on the head. He's the ultimate consummate of what a team player, a PR person, and then throw in the coaching aspect too. I mean, when they had that final pep rally and everybody came on the floor, I mean, he can work a crowd as good as anybody, but he's genuine at the same time. It's not for show. I tell you what, when we come back from break, we're going to continue our football talk. We're with AD of Ravenwood High School, Danny Borne. This is WCS Sport Connection. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hello folks, I'm Bill Fitzgerald with the Franklin Rodeo. The Franklin Noon Rotary Club this year is fighting domestic violence with our Man Up Crusade on May 15th. So wear your purple on Friday night and help us fight domestic violence and support Bridges of Williamson County. Get your tickets at franklinrodeo.com.
Welcome back to WCS Sports Connection Game Day. I'm your co-host, Jeremy Qualls. We're here with Ravenwood Athletic Director Danny Borne. Danny, let's continue our conversation about Ravenwood football. So we're talking about going through the season right there. They go undefeated, get into that first round playoff against Station Camp, absolutely blow the doors off them, sets up the stage for the rematch against Centennial at home. And what a crowd that was, what an environment that was. Hard-fought battle to get to Memphis to play the group out of Memphis to get to in the semifinal game. Beat that group that sets up the state championship game against Maryville. everybody knows who Maryville is. I guess they could be considered a national powerhouse. They've won 10 state championships. George Qualls, I mean, the whole 9 yards. We get to that game. It's at Tennessee Tech. What a game to remember. You know, Van Jefferson all up into that point. And let's talk real quick about that and the recruiting process and how many people were in and out of the doors of Ravenwood High School during that time frame.
Well, obviously he's a special talent, and to get the recognition he received this year. You know, it all started last summer when he went out west to the Nike Spark Combine and the Elite 11 competition, which is the top, you know, 11 quarterbacks, and they also bring, you know, the top 15 or 20 wide receivers in to throw passes to create the competition. Really made a name there, which really set the stage for the fall. You know, multiple scouts in and out every day as far as colleges coming in. And, you know, you talk about Coach Hester. I don't know how he kept up with his day job, his family, with all the work, the extra work that kept. But again, he did a good job handling it all. And Van did a good job. You know, it's tough when you're in that situation to perform, and you would have never known it by the way he performed and the way he acted with his teammates and you know, the way he was around school. You'd have thought he's just another one of the guys, and he did a great job with it. Tough decision. He had obviously as many schools as he wanted to that he could go. He narrowed it down to 5. And it came down to the very end, even to the last day, till he made his final decision among the last 3 schools, which ultimately led him to Ole Miss, which they're still coming in the door to check on him, make sure everything's good to go. And I know they're super excited to have him. He's going to make a great impact next year.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing that. He's also obviously going in as a Male Athlete of the Year recipient. Also, 2-sport athlete, runs track, for those that know. Used to play basketball, but decided to forego that this senior year, which I couldn't blame him with the situation that he had. All-American, 4-star recruit. I mean, fantastic career. I've enjoyed thoroughly. Not only that, he's a really good kid, and that makes it even better. You know, he has to go in and, like you said, become a man all of a sudden to make these choices, getting pulled from every different direction known to man. Friends, TV, family, hey, go here, go, you know, do this. The coaches are coming in trying to sell their program on him. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it comes down to his decision to go to Ole Miss. I look forward to seeing him play. You know, you lose in the heartbreaker. I try not to dwell on that because I feel like I'm opening up a scab on me and pulling off a scab every time I talk about it. It hurts me to know that you went into double overtime, Ravenwood did, and dictated their future and went for 2 for the win. And it got intercepted and we ended up losing about 1. But what a great year to set the stage for Ravenwood that moves us into the winter sports. And, you know, you're riding a lot of success up until this point. We've got a few things, maybe some obscure things we want to talk about. Cheer and dance. You have a couple of Wilco nominees for cheer and dance. Let's start with cheer real quick and talk about your Wilco nominations for cheer. Okay,
so for cheer is Ellie Marquette. You know, she sent us in her resume when we were collecting the information, and it was amazing the things she's accomplished, not only through cheer, but also through school, through academics, through the community, through volunteer experiences. You know, just a great student, athlete, and also, you know, community member.
Well, and then on the dance side of things, you have Morgan Stengel.
Yes, Morgan as well. You know, a great student. I believe she's over 4.0 for her high school career,
just a good ambassador for dance.
Absolutely.
You know, I put you on the spot there. He's a newbie, and we've never talked about cheer and dancing to this day. So good job on that. We passed that. So moving on into the wrestling realm of things, not wrestling, but wrestling.
Absolutely.
The actual event that we have here. Taylor Stoll is a Wilco nominee from Ravenwood. Let's talk a little bit about the wrestling program.
Yeah, you know, this is the first year we have not won the region. I believe in the last 5, we finished 2nd, which is still a good season. You know, Josh Peck, the head wrestling coach, does a phenomenal job with all the wrestlers. Taylor has been wrestling for 4 years, and she's improved every year, and she actually won the state championship this year. So finished out on a high note.
Well, you know, and once again, like volleyball, like most of the running events, cross country, track, etc., you can almost put wrestling into that same bowl as volleyball. Williamson County Sports Conference, WCS Sports Conference, is top notch when it comes to all these type of sports, just because our demographics, our makeup, our parents, our families, these are kind of lifelong sports with the exception of wrestling, obviously. But wrestling has always, outside of Cleveland, Tennessee, been a top notch area for that sport.
Absolutely, and the middle, and it starts in the middle schools, and Coach Peck works with the middle schools, and has a great feeder program, has great participation with camps through the summer to kind of get the young kids incorporated to his system, and then once they come freshmen and they're with us full time, it's just he runs with it and creates a good team every year.
So that moves us into basketball. Let's talk real quick about the girls' side. Mariska Harris, what a job she has done. I know that the Ravenwood athletic community, as far as being athletic director, how excited you are to have her as a basketball coach.
Absolutely. She started her coaching career at Independence 6 years ago, and she was actually recruited from the Middle Tennessee head basketball coach Rick Insel out of a camp at MTSU, and he liked the way she was coaching the camp and asked her, hey, do you want to come aboard and get into the college game? And she left Trevecca with all kinds of scoring records. She was a great college athlete. And then so she was at MTSU for 4 years, had a child and wanted a little bit less work commitment as far as time goes, so she wanted to get back in the high school game. It was a perfect fit for us, perfect fit for her as she lives 5 minutes from campus. A home run hire, and again, talk about, just like Coach Hester, the total package of, not only can she do it on the court, but she's also about the classroom, a great classroom teacher, and also great as far as allowing her athletes to play other sports and participate in other athletic programs.
Well, I look forward to seeing how that continues to evolve. Right now, you've got one of the best players in the district, the freshman
Kira Downey,
who's going to be a phenomenal player as her career continues. Mariska's done a wonderful job. Look forward to seeing that on the boys' side.
Yep.
You can talk as bad as you want to about Patrick Whitlock, who was the former athletic director. You can talk about him all you want here on the show. Patrick's done a fantastic job, kind of up and down year for the Raptors on the boys' side of things, but always in the mix. You're talking about coming down to a basket at the Battle of the Woods at the end of the year. Get yourself in district tournament for an opportunity, but fall a little short there.
Well, Coach Whitlock gets the absolute most out of every player on his team. Whether he has a talented group or not as talented group, he's going to be right there in the district standings at the end of every year, and he's shown that again this year. And he was kind of a slow start due to the fact that football, went to state championship, which is 5 weeks into his season. So he started his season basically 6 weeks after all the other teams had been going since the fall. So it was a tough start for him. But again, he found a way to make it work. They were playing their best ball at the end and made a good run at the end of the season.
Absolutely. So that brings us to the spring sports. So let's really focus on baseball for just a minute, okay? Because you have a good insight as anyone. Bryce Denton. For those that don't know about Bryce Denton right now is the top recruit at Ravenwood and possibly in the state and maybe even the Southeast United States. A couple mock drafts came out, had him picked 33rd in the MLB draft, has signed with Vanderbilt as of last week, the #1 program in the country. Tell us about Bryce Denton.
Well, first and foremost, he's a leader, and it's always great as a coach when your best player is also the hardest worker, but it also takes a leadership role, and it's his team. We've told him that for as the season began, and he's taken it and ran. And he's led us to a 21-4 regular season, getting prepared for a great run in the postseason. Kind of to tell you kind of the level we're talking about, Bryce is probably in the top 5 high school hitters in the country.
Wow.
So when you match that up, he was ranked 33rd in one of the mock drafts. And we're talking college, international as far as, Latino players from anywhere in the world. So you're talking about the top 50 player in the world as far as coming into Major League Baseball. But also on the same note, he's in a perfect situation. He's either going to go to Vanderbilt, get a great education, and play for the #1 team in the country, or he's going to get to live his dream and become a minor league baseball player and hopefully reach the majors one day.
Well, it's interesting that you put it that way because I've never thought about it that way. It's international. We're not talking about ranking the top high school kids. We're not talking about ranking the top college kids. We're talking about ranking in the world.
Absolutely.
And he's ranked 33rd right now. And usually those you see a lot of the, not necessarily, do not see a lot of the utility players. You see more of the pitchers getting those glamour things. So Bryce brings more to the table. I know he pitches for you, but his strong suit right now is hitting. You're talking about he's one of the top hitters in the country.
Well, scouts label position players in 5 categories, and they call them tools. So 5 tools of a baseball player, which is throwing, running, hitting for average, hitting for power, and defense. Right now, at this point, Bryce has 4 major league tools, meaning if he was playing right field for the New York Yankees, he would have 4 out of the 5 tools they're looking for a Major League Baseball player. Wow. Now, it's all projection at this time, being he's only 17. He hasn't even turned 18 yet. He could actually be a junior still for us from an age standpoint, but he had one of those weird birthdays that moved him up, which actually helps him in the draft because that gets him in a little bit younger. But anyway, yeah, he's a phenomenal talent. Again, talking just like Van Jefferson, we have 10, 12 scouts at some batting practices before, 2 hours before the game starts. These guys are here to watch him hit. We've had at least 8 to 10 at every game. And when it's his turn to bat, they all get the video cameras out, and there's a wall of them on the first base side watching him hit. And it's really going to amp up even more the next 2 weeks during our playoffs because Florida and Georgia is finishing. They start their season a little bit earlier and finish earlier in Tennessee. So therefore, all those scouts that are down in Florida and Georgia start migrating north, which we would be the next stop in that caravan on the way up north. So it's going to be even hotter on the way up. So it's a really exciting time for him and for us as well.
It's just, I want people to understand that Ravenwood has been on the international map this year, sports-wise. I mean, it's just, I'm throwing international because it's not just on the nation, because we've got a soccer player that's going to be playing probably international competition with an Olympic team. Yes. We've got a kid that's in the SEC, the best possible football scenario you could put him in. And now we've got a kid that's got a possibility of making a Major League Baseball roster or even going through a farm system. So, I mean, that's incredible. Things are going great. Track, Amber Tanner, decathlete. Talk about her real quick.
Well, Amber, started out as a basketball and soccer player and didn't really get into the track scene until last year. She had a knee injury in soccer. Which kind of led her out of that sport and into the track. She was just kind of healing up and started track to kind of get herself back in shape for the following fall, and she fell in love with it. And again, you talk about a national level. She's competing in the AAU circuit all summer long, and was right there with the top hurdlers in the country. Again, as only a sophomore.
And she has that athletic build, just like you see on the Olympic level. I mean, she's obviously got an athletic gift. Madeline Ballard, was the decathlete that I was speaking of. She's got to have a successful career. Sam Knickerbocker on soccer, Julie Wasak, all these people are Wilco nominees. So Ravenwood spring sports are really going. Got 30 seconds. Talk about real quick about Madeline Ballard and her prospective future.
Well, it's a very interesting event. You talk about the decathlete, 10 events, and have to be good in all areas. And some argue that decathletes are the best athletes in the world. We got a great one at Ravenwood, and she's only a junior. So we're expecting big things from her to finish out, and also into next season.
Well, it's been fantastic here with Danny Borne, Athletic Director of Ravenwood. Know that Ravenwood's sitting in second, could overtake first place for the Directors' Cup coming in here down the home stretch. Wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Jeremy Qualls, this has been WCS Game Day. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Books by S.R. Lee. Lined up again and again, stacked, straightened, stored, they break rank, twist a bit, slide an inch, swing round, turn their backs, push away, circle, wander to the porch, hide in a corner, how they resist the neat rows humans associate with their work, assume to be their duty. Given a chance, they may be as chaotic as their readers.